Shelton Gibson, four-star kid out of Cleveland Heights High School, of course, sticking with his commitment, and he does sign with West Virginia. We are joined now by his high school head coach, Jeff Rotsky. And, Coach, thanks so much for joining us. How are you?
I'm doing great. Glad to be here.
Yeah, glad we could work it out and get you on the show here. I'm sure it's been a busy 48 hours or so, or for that part, maybe the last couple of months, dealing with your kids going out and recruiting. You're glad to have it kind of now complete in the past now?
No doubt. It's been, we were very blessed. We had 17 seniors, and we had 8 commitments yesterday between Division I, Division II, and actually the state of West Virginia. Not only University of West Virginia, but we sent young men to West Liberty, to Glenville State. I got 3 playing already at University of Charleston. So, we love the state of West Virginia. They come and they've been great with our school, and but very excited for Shelton, and just glad the process is over, but really fired up for him to start the next part of his life.
Yeah, and in terms of Shelton there, obviously he did commit to West Virginia, still took a visit to Tennessee. I know you weren't 100% sold that he was going to West Virginia, didn't want to come on here until everything was official. What was a big draw for him to keep his commitment to West Virginia in the end?
Well, first off, I think the coaches at West Virginia are phenomenal. You may not know this, but we took our team there for 2 days over the summer, and practiced there for a whole day, and then we did a 7-on-7 at big man camp, and got a chance to really, know Coach Biedenbauer. Coach B is the one that recruits our area, but and then got a chance to know Coach Dawson a little bit better. More recently, Coach Holgerson. And they're just Coach George Chessman. They're just great people up there, and they rolled out the red carpet for us, and our kids really enjoyed it down there. But I think. There were 2 things I told Shelton, the only 2 things I cared about. It had nothing to do with the name of the school. Number one was wherever you go, I got to know when I pass the baton on that they're going to look out for you as a young man and see you through this and continue to mentor and you in your maturation process. And so that was the first priority. The second thing was it had to be systematically the right place for him. Shelton's not going to go to a place that's going to run the option or the wishbone or any of that kind of stuff, So, he's a true inside slot receiver. He can play inside or outside, but I believe he's one of the very blessed kids that can just be very creative, whether you're running the jet, the bubble, getting vertical down the middle of the field and just running smash routes, running the corner routes. I mean, he's really just a very talented kid, and when the ball's in his hands in space, he's very, very creative. And I think the system that West Virginia has, and I think, it'll even probably go back more traditionally to the thing, a lot more quick game and bubble screen and stuff than they've even done this past year. I just think it was a great system for him. And I think they, I heard you in a little bit of the pregame where when I was listening, you said, everyone's next Tavon Austin to the next this one. That's not a fair thing to put on anybody. But I think hopefully the new Shelton Gibson will be a very competitive young man. He'll be able to do some things for the Mountaineers.
Jeff, in talking to the Mountaineer coaches, the one thing that they all talked about was his ability to make plays after the catch, and you alluded to a lot of that. Obviously, he's got tons of skills elsewhere, but he's a difference maker, it sounds like, with the ball in his hands.
Oh, my God. I mean, let me tell you something. He's the kind of kid, when you're watching a game and a kid catches a pass and he runs a jet, and all of a sudden he stops and he reverses the field and he says, "What are you? Way to go, way to go, way to go, way to go!" And he's going 70 yards the other way. He made a play. He made a play in one of our games where he caught a bubble. There was nothing there. He turned around, spun, and then it was on his highlight tape, and then went 70 yards. I mean, he just has the ability as a return guy, kick return, punt return. I mean, after the first couple of games, nobody would kick to him. He's, when the ball's in his hands, it's very rare. I was fortunate to coach a young man by the name of Bam Childress about a dozen years ago, who was Mr. Football in the state of Ohio. And Bam was the shiftiest kid I've ever coached, but he was probably a 4'6" guy, maybe a 4'5" guy. Shelton's a 4'3" and change guy who's got that shiftiness, who can, stop on a dime. And that's just a rare combination to have. So, when I finally got smart, we had a young quarterback this year, sophomore. Instead of, throwing hitches, we started just throwing quick screens to him in the last 3 games. And my God, I mean, the things he just does with the football in his hands. And he's strong, and he's competitive, and you get him around the goal line, and, man, that son of a gun wants to get in the end zone. So he's a fun-loving kid, but he's a competitive young man. And, when you get in the games, this young man wants to win.
Speaking with Jeff Rotsky, he's the Cleveland Heights High School head coach out of Ohio, head coach of WVU receiver and signee Shelton Gibson.
Coach, what does Shelton do from now until the time camp opens to get himself in a position to get on the field right away here at WVU?
Well, I own him. Put it that way. Shelton's had a very creative, 4 years. When I say that, our district, for those who don't know, we're basically an inner-ring suburb. 75% of our kids are on free and reduced lunch, primarily African-American. But our school is also the best primarily African-American academic school in the state of Ohio, in my opinion. And there are a lot of doubters when Shelton was in middle school, as there are a lot of doubters of a lot of kids. And Shelton will come out with his 2.8, 2.9, and he's going to continue knocking his books out, but he's going to live in a weight room with us. He's going to do all of our agility stuff. He's going to, I told him I'd like to see him coming to camp at 190. And rocked up and just, ready to really, really compete. I mean, I said, Shelton, this is not a red shirt gig. They're looking for you to come in and to play and to be a playmaker, whether it's on, offense, return guy. I said, so we need to make you ready and physically, everything, emotionally, spiritually, and, ready to do everything that you need to do. And so, he'll be with me quite a bit and our team, and we work out about 95 kids a day in our program now, and he's just right there with us.
And when it came down to his final decision, obviously Tennessee, it was in the mix, had a lot of solid offers, including Ohio State. How close do you think he considered those other schools late?
Well, I will tell you this, that, I think ultimately the Tennessee was intriguing, but ultimately it was between West Virginia and Ohio State.
Yeah.
And I think there were several, this is just my opinion. I've got great relationships with Urban Meyer. I mean, he's just, we sent a young man there last year, and, and obviously built great relations with West Virginia. I have no skin in the game. I'll never tell a young man where to go, but I'll tell him where not to go if I believe they just want him as a piece of meat. And that if I don't believe a coach is going to truly look out for my son, and I don't mean to sound corny when I say it, but that's, I'm very, very close with our players, then I'll let them know that. And I think at the end of the day, he saw a great coaching staff, and so we had two great coaching staffs, and I think he saw himself systematic, even though Urban Meyer, their spread and all that stuff too, and Urban's an unbelievable coach, but I think he saw a chance to get on the field maybe a little bit sooner, and a chance to really, he loves the system that West Virginia runs. We were a multiple set, we were at some 2-back and 1-back, but and I think at the end of the day, he just, it felt right to him. I told him, if something really feels right, there's no reason to go talk to 20 other schools or 30 other schools. You narrow it down to the final couple, and then, we sat down and we talked often about what he liked most, what he didn't like as much, and what, in this place and that place, and where he felt he was best off. And, the plus points kept coming back to West Virginia. And I think it's a great decision for him.
Coach, just in general terms, I mean, for Shelton, you mentioned, helping him in his decision, but you have kids every year. You had a couple other kids that signed with Big Ten schools, as well as all those others that are they're going to lower levels, I know. So what is the role of a high school coach in terms of the whole recruiting process?
Well, I will tell you this first up. We have a simple philosophy at our school, and I ask every young man to live by these 4 letters. And that's GF. So the only 4 things a man and a young man's life are God, their family, the grades, and football. And we tell them none of those G stands for girlfriends or goofing around. So, and I want them to thank the Lord every day they're that they're in this great country. I want to take care of their family at home and take care of their football family. They're going to take care of their books to have the privilege to put on the jersey. And if they give me what I asked for over that time, over the 4 years, it is absolutely my responsibility, my job, my commitment. And what I love more than anything is to see our kids move on. Our kids know, I don't care if they don't decide not to play football, that's okay. But they better damn well go to college, or they better move to Hawaii because I'll hunt them down and shoot them. So they're going to move on. And in our case, as a coach, a lot of our parents have absolutely no experience because most of them, or many of them, have never been to college. And those that have never played, big time sports. And I was a Division III athlete. I went to Case Western Reserve University in Cleveland. But so the job is to really to show them, okay, here's here are and talk through here what's most important. What's most important to you? Well, we got to make sure they have your major. We got to make sure they have the academic support. We got to make sure you got relationships with, the head coach, your position coach, your offensive coordinator. We want to make sure that there's all the tutoring support. We want to make sure that socially that you're going to fit in. And so what we do with a lot of our kids is that we create kind of this, I don't want to call it a little cheat sheet, but and then we say where are they an A++, and where are they deficient, and then eventually, I try to make it a little bit objective where we kind of score it. And but our job is to be sounding boards, to be encouraging, to be true mentors, and to make sure we see them through. I mean, I tell my kids, there's a lot of coaches, and it disappoints you that they think when the high school season's over, their job's done. That's a bunch of crap. My job's done in 30 years. All right, there's not a day goes by where I get a reference call from one of my players, or I manage money for a living at Morgan Stanley. I won't hire a kid that didn't play for Cleveland Heights as an intern. That's just what I'm going to do. And I think, if kids give you the work and spend the time that we ask, because I demand a lot of their time. By golly, it's our job, it's our responsibility to see them through, to be there for them, not just when they're in high school, when they're in college, when they, I want to be at my kid at Shelton's wedding one day. I want to be the godfather of his first child. That's the relationship that we have, and so I think it's just important that we really keep strong relationships, because he may need me every bit as much at West Virginia than he did here, and Coach Biedenbach, he knows, he says, if he gets out of line, I'll come down there and, knock him upside his head if I have to. We'll do what we got to do. But it's, I want my kids to have great experiences, to go on and to change the world, to make it a better place, to find things that, not just to play football, but to find things that bother them about the world, to be passionate about it and go fix it. Yeah. One at a time.
Well, Coach, we really appreciate the time and the insight. We're thrilled to have Shelton, a Mountaineer, and looking forward to getting him up here into Morgantown and hopefully seeing him out there on the field.
Well, I will tell you this. Trust me this. He will give you a number of wow moments. Some you're going to shake your head at, but the majority of them you're going to be saying, my God, is this kid special? And look out for my son up there, all right?
A good deal, Coach. We appreciate it.
All right, guys.
All right, thank you. Take care. There you go. That's Jeff Rotsky, Cleveland Heights High School head football coach, head coach of West Virginia receiver and signee Shelton Gibson.